Yo, check it out everyone, the Age of Aeons battle game is finally ready, the prototype. Yo, what up YouTube? This video is about how to create a combat system for your students, for your classroom. So in most gamified classes, there's some sort of conflict resolving mechanism, and you know, there could be a bad guy, and if you want to defeat the bad guy, you have to do some kind of battle, right? Some kind of conflict resolution, and it usually involves like going into a fight. Now, in most gamified classrooms or in most gamified systems like Classcraft, there's something called a boss battle, right? So that's when you fight this big boss, and the way you defeat the boss is by answering questions. To me, that is not really a combat system. That's just a glorified way of creating a quiz. That's not what you really want to do. You don't want to create a glorified quiz and call it your combat system. So I think there's a few things that you actually have to do in order to create a good combat system. And some of the things that has to be involved is students' actions and their mastery of content should help them resolving conflicts in the game. So if there's a boss battle, the students should be able to accumulate power throughout the year by mastering the content, and that power can be used in the combat system to defeat the boss. Another good way to do it is you should allow students to be able to battle each other. So in video games we have a concept called PvP, which is player versus player, and then we have another concept called PvE, that's player versus environment. So your combat system should be able to kind of do both. You should be able to battle each other and figure out who's the strongest, like which players are the strongest in the classroom, and then you should also be able to use the same system to where you can have your players or your students battle like a fictional boss that you've created. The outcome of the battle should have an effect on what happens next, and also how well prepared your students are in that battle should be kind of like a reflection of how well they're doing in the classroom. That's kind of how you tie your combat system to your content without just turning it into like answer this question, and if you do it you take hit points, if you answer it wrong you take damage. Creating a quiz and calling it a combat system is really lazy, and it's not the best way to do it. Alright, so for the last 3 weeks I've been building this prototype of the combat system that I'll be using with my students. It took me about 3 weeks to build because I had to create a bunch of like collectible cards. I had to figure out how to create a map that was I can adjust. I also had to figure out some software to keep track of like damages and like magic power and things like that, and how to track it while students are taking turns playing the game. And that took a while, and I also had to create like this table to display all that information electronically to the students while they were playing it. But something crazy happened. When I play tested it about a week ago with a buddy, we figured out that the game actually works better without all that technology. We just liked moving the pieces. We liked keeping track of the damage and the magic and all that stuff using poker chips rather than like pressing all the buttons and moving a mouse around on the software. So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. I'm gonna try to redesign this game to where it doesn't really need the computer to run it. So if when I release it, you guys can just pick up where I left off and just create it for yourself as well. So that's the kind of the idea, and hopefully I'll be able to give you more updates on it. Today I went to the hardware store and I picked up some like floor tiles, like hexagon floor tiles, because my map in the game that I'm creating is all based on hexagon tiles. So it was really cool to pick these up because I didn't even think about using like physical tiles. But yeah, it's a cool idea. I'm gonna think about how I can incorporate that into the game today, and hopefully by the end of the week I can give you guys a little bit of an update on how this looks like and what the process of creating a game or creating this Age of Aeons game will be. Alright guys, that's all. Catch you guys soon. I'm drinking a root beer.